Orale, Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shout outs to all the junkies out there. Sorry, usually I get a chance to do a live before Monday Night Raw and talk about this stuff, but I'm not gonna have the time to do it. I'm not gonna have the time to go live. So I just go ahead and drop a video, man, because this PLE Bad Blood was all that and a bag of chips. Oh, yes, man. I really, really enjoyed Bad Blood. Let's go ahead and just start with the Hell in the Cell match. Now, in the predictions that I did with my boy Pablo from the LA Times, I said it right there. I said, look, the Hell in the Cell match is either going to be the first match or it's going to be the last match, but it's not going to be back-to-back main events with the Hell in the Cell and the tag team match, right? Between Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the Bloodline. Okay, so I knew they're gonna have to separate it, and I knew they're gonna be, one was gonna be the first match, the other one was gonna be the last match. And because the Bloodline thing, they're really trying to push that. I knew it was gonna be probably the final match. So, um, very first match, Hell in the Cell, kicked it off with a bang. Good gosh, man. What a great Hell in the Cell match. Now, I want to go ahead and give kudos where it needs to be given to. I had said, look, putting CM Punk into a Hell in the Cell match at his age, I thought was a little bit flawed, but damn, this was a great Hell in the Cell match. I was really entertained. I don't want to say it's the best Hell in the Cell I've ever seen, but I mean, just in recent history, at least, I would say it's been one of the better ones in recent history. I'm not going to go down all the Hell in the Cell matches, but in recent history, it's been one of the better ones. I really enjoyed it. The bump that Drew McIntyre took um, at the very end for he was gonna he had the steps, the steel steps inside of the ring, and he was gonna hit the Claymore, and he landed with his lower back on the corner edge where I thought he was probably supposed to land his back completely on top of the steel steps, but he didn't. His lower back lands on the corner, and that was kind of cringing, to for me to see. I was like, "Oh, wow, man! Gosh, that looked bad." But nonetheless, look, CM Punk comes out with the victory. I like the whole thing of wrapping the chain around his knee. It was cool, man. Really good job. Shout outs to both of those gentlemen. They put on a really good one, a classic. Like I said, I'm not gonna go down all Hell in the Cell matches, but definitely one of the better ones I've seen in a minute. So as we move on to Nia Jax and Bayley, yeah, look, the only reason why this match was even remotely interesting to me was because I wanted to see if Tiffany Stratton was going to cash in. And well, look, the match was pretty good. It was pretty decent. It wasn't the best match, there was a few botches here and there. Bayley having Nia Jax up on her shoulders. That was pretty cool. And Nia Jax, I guess, was supposed to hit a Hurricanrana. Um, wasn't well executed at all. But nonetheless, I knew what they were trying to do. I was like, okay, all right. By the way, Nia Jax seems like she's lost some weight. Anyway, Nia Jax comes out with the victory. Tiffany Stratton does not cash in. It's more of what's been going on with that story of Tiffany Stratton looking like she's gonna cash in, and Nia Jax kind of catching her like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're not cashing in on me, are you?" Right? It was just more of that. But I will say this. There was a little interesting stuff right there because Nia Jax walked out on her own after getting the victory. When Tiffany Strand, you had this look on her face where it looks like to me, everything that's been going on with this whole situation, it looks like to me that Tiffany Stratton is probably gonna cash in on Nia Jax in front of her face, right? Like she's not gonna wait till Nia Jax is on the ground. She's not gonna wait till Nia Jax is knocked out. It looks like to me that Tiffy time is growing some backbone where it just this her facial expression at the end of that match between Bayley and Nia Jax. It just kind of, I kind of read it like Tiffany's like, you know what? I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of trying to do this behind her back and hopefully that she doesn't catch me. That's kind of what I read. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? I think she's gonna cash it in front of her, right? Whether it's set up where it's like, I'm cashing it in and I'm challenging you at whatever, Survivor Series, Crown Jewel, whatever it may be, or she comes out and she cashes it in while Nia Jax, earns another victory or what have you. But that's what it kind of seems like to me. Good, decent match, nothing special. But yeah, just more of the same when it comes to Tiffy time, which was the most interesting thing going into this match. So, you know, um, moving forward, I do want to talk a little bit about the whole uh Triple H thing, not so much on the announcement that he made. I'll talk about that on another one. But I do want to talk about Gunther coming out and Bill Goldberg being there. By the way, they really, really went big on Bad Blood. They really did. It seemed, I don't want to exaggerate and say, oh, it seemed like WrestleMania or anything, but they really went pretty big, man, of the celebrities that were there, and they made a pretty big deal about it. Some of the legends that were there, Booker T, Mickey James, so on and so forth. Quite a few people were there. They made a big deal about this. And Gunther comes out and looks like he's gonna have a rivalry with Bill Goldberg. I think that's probably going to be leading to Crown Jewel. Honestly, I think that's where we're headed with that. Goldberg comes out, or Goldberg comes out, Gunther comes out, and he starts talking smack about Goldberg, talking about like, hey, when I was talking to Bret Hart, I was just making that up, it was all a lie, and starts calling out Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg comes out of the stance. Um, Obviously, security's not gonna let him through. Sami Zayn comes out for whatever reason. I hate that stupid rivalry between Gunther and Sami Zayn. I think it's whack. I don't think Sami Zayn needs to be anywhere near that picture. But what's your guys' thoughts, man? Because I don't think that they're gonna let something like that go on without finishing the story. Orale, shout outs to Cody Rhodes. Without finishing that story, I do think we see Bill Goldberg in there against Gunther, and okay, I'm assuming that we're gonna see that at Crown Jewel, right? That's what pays the most. That's what they get Goldberg out of, finger quotes, retirement. And I'm assuming um, that's where we see that. Now, I'm going to leave the cage match for the very end. All right. So let's go ahead and let's get to the what so-called main event was. And that was Cody Rhodes and the Tribal Chief OTC against Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, the new bloodline. The match was all right. The match was good. The match was good. It was good. Okay. It was nothing special. It was good. I mean, they hyped it up a little bit too much, in my opinion. You had Michael Cole over there talking about this is the most important match in Cody Rhodes' career. Is it really? His title's not even on the line. Why is it the most important match of his career? But look, the match was good. All right. Nothing special there. It was just a good match. However, the surprises was the cool thing, right? The fact that Jimmy Uso came out to help out um, his cousin, his primo, his bloodline, his tribal chief in Roman Reigns, right? So they come out with the victory, Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns come out with the victory with the help of Jimmy Uso, because the other Tongan dudes, they get involved. And so Jimmy Uso comes out and gets involved and they get the victory. That was cool to see. It was cool to see Jimmy's back and he's with Roman Reigns. Now, for a second there, just for a quick second, while they were in the middle of the ring, I was thinking, like, is Jimmy gonna super kick Roman? Because if you go back in the storyline, you're like, Roman wasn't the best to Jimmy. So I'm like, okay, they're in the middle of the ring, they hug it out, they slap hands, cool, we're family, all this good stuff. And I'm like, is he gonna super kick him? He doesn't. They walk out of the ring. Um, the bloodline starts beating down Cody Rhodes. Jimmy Uso gets at Roman as they're already halfway to the back, right? Halfway up the ramp. Jimmy's all like, hey, come on, Us. Come on, man. We got to help him out. As they're seeing Cody Rhodes just get beat down, just the way Kevin Owens beat down Cody Rhodes outside by his bus later on that night. We'll get to that on another one. But Roman Reigns was like, hey, it was just a one-time deal. Now, I was thinking, okay, they can go two ways about this. You can go with Roman going back to being a little bit of a heel, and they could just keep on walking and say, hey, listen, we agreed to be on each other's side for the tag team match, and that's it. I'm just going to walk to the back. If they're jumping you, they're jumping you. I don't care. So, it's part of me was like, just keep walking. Just keep walking. But of course, they didn't. We're going to keep Roman Reigns as a baby face. They run in there and beat the crap out of the new bloodline. And now all three of them are standing in the ring after beating the dog doo-doos out of the new bloodline, who are now outside of the ring. Not only are they outside of the ring, they're actually exiting through the fans. So as Jimmy, Roman, and Cody are in the ring, guess who comes out? Oh, yes, the final boss, the people's champ. He comes out, doesn't make his way down to the ring, just stands there at the top of the ramp, looking. Who's he looking at? Who's he looking at? It reminds me years ago when WCW and ECW got bought out by WWE. So there was this whole storyline where it's like, hey, they formed the alliance, right? It's the alliance versus the, WWE or whatever. And word came down that, hey, there's a traitor of the WWE who's actually working with the alliance. Shane McMahon comes out. There's a bunch of superstars in the ring. And Shane is all like, oh, one of you in there is the traitor. Because Shane McMahon was on the side of the alliance. And he's all like, you guys don't believe me. You guys will see. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at him right now. But you couldn't tell who he's looking at because there's multiple superstars in the ring. Turns out that it was Kurt Angle. Anyway, going back to this, who is he looking at? Because his music stopped for maybe about, I don't know, 30 seconds, maybe a little longer. Then he counts with his hand, with his fingers. Then his music starts. And then he does the whole cutthroat, right? Puts his finger to the throat. Like, cut your throat. Who's he talking about? Who was he looking at? Was he looking at Jimmy? Was he looking at Roman? Was he looking at Cody? Was he talking about all of them? Don't know. But, that was cool. Raises a lot of questions, right? Now let's get to the whole Judgment Day kind of thing because they had two matches. You had el campeón, Damian Priest, right? Who's going to go in there and rip out the corazón of Finn Balor. This was probably the least interesting match to me. It would have been Nia Jax and Bayley had it not been for Tiffany Stratton, me being invested. Hey, is Tiffany going to become champion? Is she going to cash in? But nonetheless, man, look, they had a good match. Finn Balor and Damian Priest, they're both good wrestlers, man. They are. They're both good wrestlers. Does it end here? I I don't know. I saw the post conference, and it might, at least for Damian, it might. I don't really know how much more you want to go with Damian Priest just fighting the Judgment Day. I mean, at some point, he's got to go on and have a career, man, outside of that. When it comes to Mommy, we'll get to that in a second. But it was a good match. Comes out with the victory. You did have the Judgment Day come out with the exception of Liv and Dom Dom. Good match. Enjoyed it. Entertaining. Glad it was there. And I think this rivalry, this storyline, at least with Damian Priest, it needs to come to an end. It needs to come to an end. I mean, what do you have him do? Put him in a program in a big rivalry against Carlito now? I mean, what are we doing? It's time for Damian Priest to move on. I don't know how much more we're gonna go with this. Good match. Good match. Highly enjoyed it. Which leads me now to what you guys see on the screen. And that is Mommy versus Liv Morgan with Dirty Dom in a cage. Now, when it first started, I remember, I don't know when was the last match that they put a superstar in a cage and they elevated it above the ring. And I always kind of thought that was a little dangerous because if for one reason or another, if it drops, right? Accidents have happened. If it drops, I mean, that will kill one of the superstars in the ring if it hits them or the referee. Like it will crush them. So no, this was actually on the aisle on the way down to the ring. Now, when they locked them in there, I was watching with my sons, and we're like, "Ah, man, this kind of sucks." So he's just locked in there, like, okay. But before the match starts, now, first of all, actually, I should go ahead and say this. Their entrance, Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom, was badass. It was badass. They're rolling in the lowrider through the city on their way to the arena. It was badass. Loved it. Loved it. Awesome, Holmes. But anyway, before the match starts, they put Dominic in the cage. Mommy gets the mic and she says, "Hey, one more surprise. Not only are you claustrophobic, but you're scared of heights. Lift it up, boys." So yeah, man. The cage was lifted up. It was elevated. I don't know how far up it was. It wasn't up to the Raptors. I mean, I don't know. It's what? Shoot. 20 feet. Nonetheless, it was cool to see. And Dominic just kind of sat down. He actually looked like he was really, truly scared the entire time. While he made it look believable, there wasn't really much entertainment out of it. because he just kind of sat there looking scared, the way an actual person would really act had they truly been scared. So he made it look extremely believable at the same time, because there's little to no movement on his part, not much to see, entertainment value wise, that is. Mommy and Liv Morgan are putting on a pretty damn good match. Shout outs to the ladies, man. These women are putting on a damn good match. Dom Dom at one point gets the cage open. Rhea Ripley hits the riptide outside of the ring on Liv, throws Liv back in the ring. Dom is on all fours at the very edge because he was able to get the door open, pleading with Rhea to stop beating on his chick, little güerita Liv Morgan. He falls out of the cage, but his ankle or I wasn't really sure. I wasn't able to tell, but he was chained to the cage. It looked like it was on his ankle or it was on his belt somewhere. So he falls out and he's hanging upside down, by the way. Rhea Ripley rolls Lil Wedia, Liv Morgan, who I'm becoming more and more of a fan of every time I see her, by the way. She tells the ref, and you're able to hear Mommy clearly because the ref is wearing a camera. Mommy says, give me 1 minute and I'll come back and finish this. The referee says, you deserve that. Go ahead. Which I thought was kind of dumb. It's during the match. You don't need to put out a minute, especially the way the match ended. What was the point of the referee granting Mommy a minute outside of the ring? She goes out of the ring, she gets a kendo stick, and she starts treating Dirty Dom like a piñata. Starts beating him. Now, you get a 10-second count before you're counted out of the ring, okay? But let's all be real. The way the referees in the WWE count, you really get about 17 to 20 seconds. They're not counting literal seconds. You probably get about 20 seconds. Mommy could have gone out there, grabbed the kendo stick, and just went out there and started beating on Dom Dom. Because as she was doing that, Raquel Rodriguez, who everybody forgot about, I know I did, attacks Mommy from behind, ending this match in disqualification. So yes, Rhea Ripley wins the match, but she doesn't win the title. Raquel Rodriguez throws Mommy back into the ring. By the way, Raquel Rodriguez is a pretty big chick. She's a little bigger, not much, than Mommy. She's a little bigger than her, but not by much. Picks her up and slams her. I forgot Raquel Rodriguez's finisher maneuver, what the name of it is, but she nailed Mommy with it. The match ends in disqualification. Raquel Rodriguez doesn't realize it for whatever reason. She grabs Liv Morgan, who's still knocked out, puts her on top of Mommy, like there's going to be a 1, 2, 3. But no, the match is done. It's over in disqualification. My sons and I are like, why is she doing that for? Then she realizes she grabs Liv Morgan off of her, and they all head out happily ever after. So this is going to get Mommy away from Liv Morgan and Liv Morgan's title. Now you can keep Liv Morgan around Raquel Rodriguez. Heck, you could put Raquel Rodriguez in the New Day if you'd like. I'm sorry. Did I say New Day? I'm sorry, Judgment Day. New Day is coming to an end. So for Mommy, her to be beefing it with Judgment Day is not really to have beef with Judgment Day. It's really to have beef with Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom. However, this can be the first step for her to get away from that. But we all know that Liv and Raquel were a team once upon a time. They were actually baby faces. They weren't heels. Now they're heels. So is Raquel Rodriguez going to go off and do her own thing away from Liv Morgan? Because if she does, then that puts Mommy away from the Judgment Day. But if you keep Raquel Rodriguez right alongside with Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom and the Judgment Day, now you still got to keep Mommy beefing with the Judgment Day. It's more aimed towards Liv, Dom, and Raquel, but nonetheless, it still get keep her connected to the Judgment Day. But if you just got Raquel slap hands with Liv Morgan, say like, all right, cool, you know what? You go your way, I go my way now. I helped you out. And now we go off and do our own thing. Now Mommy steps away from the Judgment Day, beefing with the Judgment Day to go handle Raquel Rodriguez. You got two strong, big chicks, homie, that'll be going at it in Raquel Rodriguez and Mommy, and I'm excited for it. All in all, I loved it. I loved it. From beginning to end, I was entertained all the way through. From beginning to end, I was entertained all the way through and through. Good stuff. Good PLE. One of the best this year. I didn't say it's the best. I did not say it's the best. I said one of the best of the year. Badass PLE. Badass. What was your guys' thoughts on the return of Bad Blood? Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shouts to all the junkies. Catch you guys on the next one.